morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Welcome back to Morning Barbados. 20 minutes after 7 o'clock. Thank you so much for staying with us wherever you are across Barbados. We're going to tell you now about the In Fellowship Conference, and to tell us more about that, we have Reverend Stephen Gittins with us. He is of the Fellowship of Bible Churches. He's a chairperson with the church. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Barbados.
Good morning, and good morning, Barbados.
Good to have you here. Now, this event is going to be taking place, I understand, from July 15 through 17. So tell us a little about the church and certainly why you decided to do this at this time.
The church is a small independent group that has its roots as well within the United States of America. And even although they govern the programs, we are, as you would say, we run our own affairs here. Because it is better that way, culturally speaking, and not only that, we have to understand that each person has to hear and know God, the precedent set in the Word of God, and we must obey that. We took the position a while ago, very concerned about family in Barbados, seeing breakdown in marriages, young people suffering because of drugs, early sexual activity, and the high rising numbers in the HIV and AIDS situation that we face. We felt it best to offer a package to the families in Barbados, that they would recognize that there's hope, and that they don't have to handle the matters or the problems by themselves, and that we made ourselves available for this. So hence the In Fellowship Family Conference came into being with collaboration with the Barbados Evangelical Association, and that's why we're having this in its 4th year this year.
Okay. So what form does it take really? Is it you come, you sit in groups and discuss stuff, or you come and you listen to a speaker present?
We have both sides of it. We have presentations made, and then we have plenary sessions as well, where people can get together, put the facts on the table as were presented and what they thought about them, and where we can go from there. Take, for example, this year in the opening ceremony, Dr. Alison Leacock, she speaks to the issue of HIV and AIDS in the family, and as you're aware, she is from Caribbean Broadcast Media Partnership on HIV and AIDS. And then this continues on this Saturday with 2 sessions. Domestic abuse and domestic violence in the family, presented by Mary Thompson. She's the past president of the Barbados Business and Professional Women's Club. And then there's Roger Marshall. He has the 2nd session, taking a stand against the corrupting influences of the mass media. He's from Project Probe. Now that's on Saturday. And then we close off on this Sunday with the Reverend Dr. Nigel Taylor. He presents the church and the family, the real issues, and a man well known across the Caribbean, leading apologist, Reverend Clinton Chisholm, author, speaker, minister of the gospel, guiding the family God's way.
So I get the impression that it's not, you come, you sit and you listen and you take it and you go. You have a chance to question it and to also put forward your own views to our faith talk after presentations are made.
And we allow the public to really get involved in that respect, because it is not healthy if you just share information and individuals don't get an opportunity to interact. We want them to come and raise their questions, and the other 3 years that have gone before, we've had that, and it was very interesting, especially last year with the young people, because they took on their last speaker, Magistrate Barbara Cook Aline, and it was interesting the way she presented and how they responded to her. So we want this to be very much the same way, no strings attached. Let them raise whatever they choose to.
You know, Reverend Giddens, we often hear the quotation from the Bible, where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, and there are some people who may be wondering, well, my family isn't mommy, daddy, and 2 children. It may be a grandmother, an aunt, and a brother. How does the church define families, and are all welcome regardless of how their family is constructed?
It is rather interesting. You can take a sociological position, you can take any position, but the truth is, a family is where you have individuals who are bonded by blood, they're living together, and we have to take that as far-reaching as it is. If it's a father who's not living there, or a mother who's not living there, or it's the extended family, we have to take it. The gospel ministers to everyone, irrespective of how we may view it in our own definition. People need help, and when you come to minister to those who need help, you can't afford to sit down and ponder as to whether this is politically correct or however. We've got to minister to that. So I'd say we take the family as it comes.
Blood or no blood?
Blood or no blood.
Right,
we will
that's what
take
we want to
them.
hear. Okay.
I would want to say as well that the conference begins On Friday, the 15th of July, we start at 7 p.m. On the Saturday, we continue at 9:15 a.m. and the Sunday, we close off at 6 p.m. And we feel that the family right now is really under threat with all the things that are happening. More mothers and fathers are working away from home, and there's not the granny or uncle or auntie who would be working with children or staying with them. And if a child has access to the keys to the home and everything in the home at 7 years old and continuously like this, we have some problems to deal with, and we need to find something that will get our family to work again together, and they need to have the church involved.
Okay. Are you focusing on families in your specific area, wherever you're located, first of all?
Well, we're speaking to all families. We're taking them from wherever they come, and that's why we're opening it to the nation of Barbados, because you will find sometimes in your own home area, there are people say, yes, I know what you're going to say already, and they are very hesitant. And then there are those who are elsewhere who are looking for somebody to talk to or somebody to hear what they're saying. And therefore, we can't just limit it to our own space. We have to open it to the nation.
Does the fellowship itself cater to supporting communities and families who perhaps do not have the leader of the family, whether it's a mother or father or grandmother? Is there any program within the church beyond this seminar that people can say, I'm feeling adrift, I don't really have anyone to look up to?
In close connection with the Barbados Evangelical Association, we have been concentrating heavily on the stigma and discrimination within the HIV and AIDS, and we're trying to offer assistance in there, not just food hampers, but we offer counseling as well. And if people come to us for help, or we are aware that there are people needing help, we try to get involved. You must appreciate you just can't barge in on people's privacy, but wherever we feel the opportunity is available, we get involved and try not to give them the impression that we're judgmental. But we've got to put the facts on the table, and we're open to them, hearing their concerns, and trying wherever we can to assist.
So in your experience, are people gravitating to the church, or is it just a place of last refuge?
We've got to be very frank here. Over the years, we've seen some falling away in a number of the denominations. But the fact remains, people still need assistance. If I may give you an example, I remember Yul Brynner did a video just before his death to show the dangers in smoking. Now, Yul Brynner has been gone now a number of years, and yet people still resist and still get involved in smoking. They don't listen to the bands, they don't listen to the messages. The message of the church continues to be the same, that Jesus Christ is our only hope. We beg to differ with some of the views that are presented. However, we will not knock you down for that. You're entitled to your view, but just permit us to present Jesus Christ as the hope for mankind.
What about a tailoring of the message? Should that be a consideration, or should we stick to the tried and tested method of delivering our message?
I don't know if we can tailor with the message or tinker with the message. I would suggest that we may change the mode or the style, but the message must remain the same. Anytime that Jesus Christ is no longer who he is, then everything is lost. The Apostle Paul made a point that he said, if Jesus Christ is not risen, our preaching is vain, our salvation is vain, we have no hope.
I have a question for you related to the season. Recently in the print media, there was a lot of comment about the church's place in the festival, and many people are of the view that really and truly it's no place for the person who calls themselves a Christian. What's your view?
I think the position of the Barbados Evangelical Association is very straightforward. We appreciate the fact that crop over has its place, and if you consider the aspect of thanksgiving, the nation of Barbados needs to give thanks to Almighty God. Where we beg to differ, we are concerned about the lewd behavior that we may constantly see. We appreciate the fact that some people are making a strong effort to do that which is wholesome and continue with it. And I don't think we will drift from that. I believe that there are several elements within the Crop Over Festival that the church can get involved in, and then there's some that they just will not, simply because it is not in harmony.
All right, well, before we wrap things up, let's get back. And if you're wondering why we've asked the Reverend so many other questions, because it's sort of like our Preaching It segment.
But without the bells.
Right, and he's agreed to answer a diverse number of questions. But before we wrap it up, of course, let's get back into your conference that is coming up on the 15th to 17th. Any final words on that?
Yes, I want to invite the nation of Barbados to come. We can only cater for 100. You would appreciate that this very technical, expensive economic situation we're facing. But we're asking $100 a person, $90 a couple, $75 for a family of 3 each, and $65 for a family of 4 over. That's how we're operating, and if they work within that framework, we can get through well.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Reverend Stephen Gittins. I don't know, but we might see him again on our Wednesday preaching segment.
Can I tell you one more thing, that we're going to be at the Jackson Church of God Reformation Movement, and that's in Arsenal Plainfield, Jackson, St. Michael. That's where the conference will be.
Yes, we didn't get that.
Okay.
Thank you very much for getting that in.
Wonderful.
All right, Morning Barbados. On a Wednesday morning, I promise you, we are going to have costumes on Morning Barbados. Just stay with us. We'll be right back.